Given that our tutoring services are accessible to all students, we at the AATC felt it was important to educate ourselves about educational disparities that may exist and how these intersect with the tutoring services that we provide. This is so that we can do our best to provide informed and inclusive services to all students. Just as a quick disclaimer, the topic of educational disparities is vast and complex, and we're only going to be scratching the surface today. As tutors, we need to recognize that each tutee has had their own unique educational journey prior to stepping into our tutoring spaces. With that being said, you will encounter many tutees that are at different points in their educational journeys. With some tutees, you might have to review fundamental concepts that other tutees may already have a grasp on.
While it's easy to make judgments about tutee based on their level of knowledge, we must zoom out and consider the bigger picture. In order to approach tutoring with a holistic lens, we must realize that many of the differences between tutees that we see in our tutoring spaces can be explained by disparities that exist at the systemic level. Let's take a look at some terminology to help explain what we mean by this. In the educational field, there's a term that's quickly gaining popularity that I think partially explains these disparities that we see. It's called the opportunity gap. Here's a simple explanation that helped me understand the opportunity gap. There are factors, largely outside of an individual's control, and due to these factors, certain students are offered different opportunities throughout their educational journey that compound to shape the course of their educational trajectory. To put it more simply, some students will be offered more opportunities throughout their educational careers than other students. It is unequal, hence the gap. Some factors that may lead to the opportunity gap include, but are not limited to, race, gender, whether the student is able-bodied, socioeconomic status, the school district they attended for K through 12, their parents' level of education, etc. The list goes on. You might have heard of the term achievement gap, which is often used to describe how there is a discrepancy in measured outcomes, such as test scores, between affluent and lower income students, or between students of color and white students. The opportunity gap provides the means to explain why these achievement gaps between groups of students even exist. For example, affluent students as a whole are able to score higher on standardized tests because they may be awarded more opportunities than our lower income students. Our understanding of the opportunity gap leads us to take the blame away from individual students for their level of achievement and start to understand that it is the result of something systemic and much more complex.
So, you might be wondering what all of this has to do with your time as a tutor at the AATC. As a tutor, you will encounter students from a variety of backgrounds and levels of education. For example, according to Aggie data, at UC Davis, 40% of our students are first generation and 33% are underrepresented minorities. It's important to recognize that each of our students have unique upbringings and have been awarded different opportunities in their lives that affect where they are in their educational journey today. The fact that we're all here at UC Davis is an amazing thing in and of itself, but it doesn't mean that we all arrive with equal opportunities and circumstances. As tutors, we must always be mindful that there is a lot beneath the surface that we can't see. With that being said, it is our responsibility to meet each tutee where they are without judgment.